Never underestimate BTS's V, especially when we talk about fashion. It's not just about wearing expensive clothes or walking on the red carpet. It's more than that. It's about how a man named Kim Taehyung can dictate the direction of global trends with just one photo at the airport. Many say that fashion is about style. But if you pay close attention, V doesn't just have style. He is the style itself. In the fast-paced world of K-pop, visuals are important. But believe it or not, being a fashion icon in this industry is much more complicated than just having a handsome face and a personal stylist. And at this point, BTS's V or Kim Taehyung is the only name that cannot be missed. He is not just a member of a famous boy group, he is a symbol of the modern male style revolution in South Korea, even the world. First of all, let's discuss the theoretical basis first. In fashion theory, there is a concept called personal branding through style. This is an approach that unites identity, self-expression, and symbolic value in one's clothing choices. So, when V decides to wear an oversized jacket and retro glasses at the airport, it's not just a whim. That's how he shaped the public's perception of who he is. And amazingly, it worked. If you look at V's style from the beginning of BTS's career until now, he's always been experimental and original. He's never been afraid to be different. Even when others are playing it safe with standard male idol cuts, V goes against the grain. He once wore pajamas to the airport, and oddly enough, they still looked expensive. He once wore a silk scarf in an old-money European style when everyone else was stuck with streetwear. And let's not forget his style, which is often inspired by paintings, classic films, and even elements of French and Japanese culture. Fashion isn't just about clothes for V. It's a form of nonverbal communication. In fashion semiotics, yes, this is a real science, clothes are seen as signs that carry meaning. When V wears a white button-down shirt with linen pants, it's not just a casual outfit. It's a statement about freedom, about control over his own body, about his ability to shape a visual world that only he can. One of the legendary moments that made the public even more convinced that V is the king of fashion was when he appeared at Paris Fashion Week without being scheduled to appear. French media even called V's presence as the most unexpected highlight that ruined the fashion show schedule. Imagine, one idol can change the atmosphere of a world fashion event. This is not the level of ordinary celebrities. This is cultural influence. V is also known as the muse of famous fashion houses, such as Celine and Gucci. But interestingly, he is not just a model. He is a design inspiration. In the world of fashion, the position of muse has its own place. That means someone's personality and style are considered strong enough to inspire new works. That is the highest validation in the fashion world. And V has it. Now let's talk about how fans and the media see him. In the theory of fashion sociology, there's something called the Trickle Up Effect. Usually, trends start from the top, from fashion designers to consumers. But in V's case, many trends actually started from him himself as a celebrity, then spread to the mainstream, and finally entered the runway. For example, vintage round glasses, a combination of long coats with derby shoes to thin necklaces in the 70s. All of that became a trend because of him. And you can check on Pinterest or TikTok. The keyword V airport fashion is always full of super detailed style analysis. He really is a walking catalog. But how did V get to this point? The answer is authenticity. In the entertainment world full of illusions, V seems honest with himself. He never looks like he's trying too hard. His style of dress feels effortless. And that's actually the strongest attraction. His mysterious personality, sometimes funny, sometimes calm, is reflected through the way he dresses. And that makes the public even more curious, more connected, and more respectful. Not only that, there's an interesting psychological side too. In the world of psychology, there's a term in clothes cognition, the influence of clothing on the way we think and feel. And it seems that V uses this very consciously. His style of dress is not only to impress others, but also to shape his public persona as an artist, singer, and performer. This is what makes him different from other idols. He is fully aware of how fashion can be a weapon, and he uses it very strategically. V is also not the typical fashion icon who fusses about brands. He can wear luxury items one day, then the next day wear ordinary clothes from an unknown small designer. But what is clear is that everything looks special when worn by him. This shows that his strength does not lie in the brands he wears, but in himself as a brand. And make no mistake, behind all his seemingly casual and random styles, there is hard work behind the scenes. His fashion is not a coincidence. He has a sharp taste, deep research, and strong visualization skills. In fact, professional fashion photographers often say that Taehyung is a camera darling. Every angle works, and it doesn't just come from his face, but from his ability to bring the clothes he wears to life. It's as if the clothes were created for him. So when people still say, V is just an idol who happens to be handsome and stylish, it means they don't understand what visual influence is in popular culture. He is the real definition of cultural influence, not just following trends, but creating trends. In conclusion, BTS's V is not only worthy of being called the king of K-pop fashion, he is already at the level of a cultural icon. A man who is able to combine art, music, and style in one powerful visual narrative. And in an era where everything moves fast and trends come and go, Kim Taehyung's name still stands strong. Because his style is not just about today, but about the future. But wait, all of V's influence in the fashion world doesn't actually stand alone. If we draw a line further, all of this is still closely related to how BTS as a group has formed a very strong visual culture since their debut. And Taehyung, with his most prominent individual character in terms of aesthetics, is a kind of visual representative of the group's artistic direction. Especially after the Wings and Love Yourself eras, you can see how V's role has become bigger in shaping BTS's visual image. Not only in terms of stage outfits, but also in choosing the concept of photo shoots, the tone of music videos, even the mood of teasers and behind the scenes. V often appears as the main character in symbolic scenes. He understands how to play with the camera, and that's not an ordinary thing. He has an artistic sense that not all idols have. And most interestingly, he brings this fashion identity beyond the screen, into real life, to the airport, to concerts, even to small interactions on Weverse or Instagram. He is always himself, someone expressive, an artist, but also mysterious. His style represents freedom of expression, which is a huge inspiration for many young people, especially guys, who may have felt that fashion was not their space before. So if you ask, why is V called the king of K-pop fashion? The answer is simple, because he doesn't just wear clothes. He brings them to life. And behind every style he shows, there is a message, there is a meaning, and most importantly, there is the courage to stay authentic in a world that is too busy copying.